What is up, my Squirtleites? It is I, your king, welcoming you back to more Let's Play Pokemon Emerald. It is time. We are finally going to be going to the Battle Frontier. And these next few videos are going to be, well, they're going to basically just be a lot of explaining. Let me just put it that way. Because the Battle Frontier is, in my opinion, the best, the most involved, the most unequivocally... Well, okay, when I said best, maybe that wasn't the correct word. It is the most deep and complicated endgame in all of Pokemon, ever. Now, again, best is subjective, and I actually don't think that the Battle Frontier is the best. I changed my mind on that, and I can think of a couple that I do prefer, but the Battle Frontier... Why are you... Maria, now is not the time. I have just arrived in the Battle Frontier. I do not need... Phone off. I'm shutting it off. I'm here on vacation... And I, too, have long dreamed about a place like the Battle Frontier. The Battle Frontier is awesome, okay? This thing is leagues ahead of any other Battle Frontier that you will ever come across. Any battle tower, any endgame battling mode or system in the Pokemon universe has nothing on Emerald's Battle Frontier. Both for better and for worse, and we'll talk about why in just a second. But let's head on in here, and is it your first time here? Please step this way. The front lines of Pokemon battling. Welcome to the Battle Frontier. For a first-time visitor, we issue the Frontier Pass. It's for use at all of the facilities in the Battle Frontier. And we are going to need this because this is what we're going to use to track our progress throughout the Battle Frontier. We hope you all enjoy that it has to offer. And look who it is, everybody. Oh, Mr. Scott. Yeah, I can't believe he actually is in charge of people. It's great to see you here. It really is. I hope you'll take your time and explore everywhere. Naturally, I hope you'll also experience the pure essence of battling. I also have my quarters here, so feel free to visit if you have time. Okay, so the way that this is going to work is going to be interesting. So the Battle Frontier, just to break it down, has 7 different facilities. And if you want to completely finish the Battle Frontier, you need to conquer all of these facilities. How do you go about doing that, you might ask? Well, each facility has its own very specific battle format. Now, some of them are honestly relatively the same, and you can pretty much go in with the same strategies in mind. Others, it's not so simple, and we'll talk about those as we get to each facility. But the thing is that these facilities will take, even with a perfected team and intense understanding of the metagame and how this game works, each facility is going to take you dozens of hours to conquer, aside from one, and we'll get into that one first once we do get into it. So I can't really do a YouTube format when it comes to actually beating the Battle Frontier. If I ever get around to doing it, it's going to be a Twitch stream thing, and it'll take me a long time. And I'm not even promising that I do this. I'm just saying that if this is even possible for me to do live and on recording, I would have to do it in a Twitch stream format, and it is going to take a very long time for me to get through everything. A very long time. I would have to build not 1, not 2, not 3, but several different capable teams to be able to take down each and every single one of these facilities. Some teams I would be able to use to take down 1, 2, or even 3 facilities. Other facilities, I would need 3, 4, 5, or even 6 different teams just to get through it. You'll understand when I go over what each of these facilities entail. But there is also a lot of other things to do here in the Battle Frontier, and we're going to spend this first video mostly focusing on those things by checking out each and every single one of the houses around the facilities. So, first things first, we're going to head on over here in this room. Now, this place is a little bit of an interesting one. You'll find some different interesting, but I love this. What's this? It's scaring me. Howdy, when it comes to news about the Battle Frontier, I'm number 1. You can think me as the Frontier Maniac just checking, but are you a trainer? Or you are a trainer, isn't that right? I'll happily share the hottest news I gathered around the Battle Frontier. Let's see now. Sounds like the Battle Frontier multi-link is the hottest. If you're with a friend, head for the link multi-battle room. If you play with a strong friend, you can expect to see tough foes. So, this guy will just give you different news and information on the Battle Frontier. Like I said, you can actually, with a link cable, be able to hook up with your friends and take on battles that way. It doesn't necessarily make the game easier, though. I will say that. I wonder if they'll be airing interviews with trainers today. If I opened a restaurant here, it'd make money for sure. This guy, woo. I need to take a breather after some intense battles, but even now, I never take a break from plotting strategy and combos. So not all of these houses really have anything all that interesting to do. By the way, this Pokemart is just a standard Pokemart. It is, well, I guess objectively the best Pokemart in the game because it has all the exact same items as the Evergrande City Pokemart. So if you want to get items, go there. I said my Pokemart is outstanding, but I didn't do anything special raising it. Now, the reason that the Pokemart doesn't really matter is because you can't use any items in the facilities, at least none of the items you have in your bag. So my Pokemon is outstanding. I'm glad I raised it carefully. Okay, so these two guys are talking about this man. This man right here is incredibly important for building teams and for understanding how the metagame works in Pokemon. For 70 years, I have raised Pokemon. I am the man they revere as the legendary top Pokemon breeder. If you ever become as seasoned as me, you'll see the abilities of Pokemon at a glance. You're a trainer. Doesn't it interest you to know your own Pokemon's abilities? Yes. So I can guarantee you that my Pokemon are not going to have outstanding abilities, but let's try with Pandora. This one, overall, I would describe as being of average ability. Incidentally, the best aspect of it, I would say, is speed. It's flawless, a thing of perfection. That's how I call it. So that is interesting. So what he was basically saying there is that my overall base stats are just okay on Pandora. That is, he's talking about the aggregate, the combination of all of my IVs, individual values across Pandora. But he did say that the speed is flawless. That means it is a perfect IV value. It cannot go any higher. Now, if she has another perfect IV value, for instance, he could actually randomly say another one. He will only ever comment on whatever the best one is. So if he says speed again, okay, so yeah, speed is the only stat on Pandora that is flawless. Nothing else is flawless. Which there are not really any ways that you can improve that stat aside from advanced breeding techniques. But that means that, oh, okay, so I have that speed stat. If I want to breed Pokemon with a good speed stat, I will use Pandora in that breeding process, essentially. And then over the course of breeding several Pokemon together, I can eventually work that IV value up high enough that he will start saying it's better than average or it's outstanding, etc. Like those guys were commenting, when he says a Pokemon is outstanding, that means that it has a higher combined IV value of, or I think the combined IV value is 186, which is the absolute max that you can have across, across six face stats. Yes, that is math. Okay, sorry. I was having to work that out in my head there. But yeah, if you have a outstanding Pokemon, you have perfect IV values across the board, which is nigh impossible to do without cheating. But let's move on into here. What a trainer needs: knowledge, strategy, luck, guts, spirit, bravery, and ability. Well, I'm all set in every way. I'll be unstoppable. Huh? Pokemon? What? You know about the Frontier Brains? That's what Scott calls the 7 special trainers that run the 7 facilities in the Battle Frontier. Yes, so the Frontier Brains, they will throw a little bit of a wrench in your plans. No matter how good you think you are at taking down each and every single one of the battle facilities, the Frontier Brains are meant to basically throw away everything that you knew about each of those facilities once you reach them. Because the thing is that you have to fight each of the Battle Frontier Brains and defeat them twice to completely conquer the Battle Frontier. So 14 battles. These battles are, well, like I said, they are extremely tough. I will go over each of the Frontier Brains and what Pokemon they have in general once I start going over each of the individual facilities. But just understand that while you are, yes, definitely wanting to build teams that are specifically there to conquer the challenges of each facility, you want to make sure that that team is prepared and good enough to take down the Frontier Brain when you come across them. For instance, all right, let me just give you guys an example of that. So for instance, the Battle Dome is a tournament-styled facility, and I'll go into more into it. I'll go into more depth later once we come across it. But Tucker, once you fight him the first time, is going to have 3 Pokemon: a Swampert, a Salamence, and a Charizard. You are going to want to make sure that your team is, above all else, well enough equipped to fight Swampert, Salamence, and Charizard. Now, you will only be battling 2 of those 3 Pokemon, so you need to be prepared for any situation. So essentially, don't go into it with a Dragon Pokemon, or otherwise you are going to get probably destroyed by his Pokemon. You might want to have an Ice type in there. You might want to have a Pokemon that has a Grass move but isn't necessarily a Grass type. You might want to have a Rock type move in there as well. Something that is going to be able to take down any one of these Pokemon without any sort of issue. But not to mention, they also do have good moves. So like, for instance, the Swampert has Surf, Ice Beam, Earthquake, and Counter. All things that you're going to need to worry about. Again, you might want to have a Grass move for that. Salamence is going to have Dragon Claw, Aerial Ace, Brick Break, and again, Earthquake. So you might want to watch out for that. I would not go in with any sort of Rock types, for instance, because you will get destroyed despite needing a Rock move to take down Charizard. And then Charizard is going to have Overheat, Aerial Ace, Earthquake, Rock Slide, and it's going to be holding a White Herb, which means that it's going to be able to use Overheat at its max power twice. So you have all of those things that you have to prepare for, on top of even just making it to the Frontier Head, which is a feat in and of itself. So like I said, these are no joke. These are absolutely no joke. How charming. That little lady claims she can understand Pokemon. So let's head on over to this one. I can tell what Pokemon are thinking. Please, can I see your Pokemon? Sure. Let's have you look at Toothless. This one says it likes to battle, but if it gets enough ouchies, it will worry about itself. Okay, this girl is incredibly important for just one particular facility. There is a facility where your Pokemon are going to battle entirely on their own, and their nature is going to tell what sort of what types of moves they will prefer to use. They will either have an attack, an offensive type, or a defensive type, or a support type. Okay? Now, this girl right here is going to tell you whether or not your Pokemon is one of those types, and therefore they will prioritize certain moves in their move pool in a battle based on their typing. Now, you can obviously force a Pokemon into using certain moves if that's all they have, but again, you might need to build Pokemon around those moves and also around their type and what sort of moves they could prefer. Like, for instance, I've got let me give you an example here. Let's go with Pandora here. So Pandora has 3 attacking moves: Slash, Shadow Ball, and Hyper Beam, which are all great. But the problem is if Pandora is for some reason a support type, all she's going to do is spam Swords Dance all day and will never actually attack, which means that she is effectively useless. So if I wanted an Absol of the exact same type with the exact same moveset to be of any use, I would need to be able to get all of these moves on top of making her an attack type, which also then in turns means that she will never use Swords Dance. See how complicated that gets? It's an entirely different set of strategies that you have to think of just for this one particular battle facility, and this girl is your key to understanding how your Pokemon are going to work in that battle facility. So we're going to head on past this one, and I think actually, okay, I'm going the wrong way. No, I don't want to go here. I want to go up and over top of it, because there is actually a very interesting place on over this way. Now, if you head on down here, get this lady right here. Excuse me, young man, have you good eyesight? There's an odd tree past here, and to my tired eyes, it seems to wiggle. Is that so? Well, would you look at that? I wonder what that might be. Well, I am going to do... Here, let's see. What am I going to use? You know what? I think I'm going to put Vega out front for this. Here we go. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to use... It's in the key items, excuse me. We're going to want to use the Whelmer Pail. And look at that thing shake its hips. The weird tree doesn't like the Whelmer Pail. The wild tree suddenly attacked. So you're going to want to save before you come into contact with this thing, because this is the only possible chance to catch this guy in the game. Or I guess in this case, this lady, a Sudowoodo. Yes, so I'm going to try to actually catch this thing right here now, although it might not be the easiest thing in the world. We'll see, but I'll certainly give it my best. Certainly give it my best. It's going to use Flail. This thing isn't really too difficult to take care of, but you do want to make sure you catch it, because otherwise you're never going to get another chance, at least in Emerald. In fact, I don't even think it's obtainable in Fire Red or Leaf Green or Ruby and Sapphire, so I think this is really your only chance to get one in Generation 3. So if you're going for that Pokedex completion, that ever-elusive Pokedex completion, make sure you catch this thing, because otherwise you're not getting one at all. Okay, so this is going to be... I think I can get away with me. I'm afraid to do another Aerial Ace just because of a crit. So, you know what? I think I'll just stick with the Ultra Ball. See if I can catch this thing eventually. It might take a minute. I hope it doesn't take too long, though. Come on. You can get it. You can get it. And yeah! All right. So we caught ourselves a Sudowoodo. Beautiful. A Sudowoodo isn't really all that great of a Pokemon anyway. I mean, it's solid. It's got a pure rock typing, which is not the best competitively, but it does make it good for dealing with certain threats. Now we're going to head on into the water. I don't think there are any randomly obtainable Pokemon out in the water around Battle Frontier, so I wouldn't really worry about that. But if you follow this, and if you head on over this way, there's actually a nice secret underneath the Battle Frontier. Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is Artisan Cave. Now I don't think there are any items in here, but what is in here is one of a kind. And that is this fella right here, Smeargle. And it's at level 50. Wow. So Smeargle is a really cool Pokemon in that it only has one move that it learns, I believe, once every 7 levels. And that move is Sketch. I will show you how Sketch works right now. Let's use Aerial Ace and hope it doesn't kill it. And it killed it. Dang it. I wasn't able to show it. Okay, let me see if I can get like a much weaker move. Oh, you know what? Actually, perfect example. Let's use Toothless and let's just use Fury Cutter. Then I can show how this works. So let's see if we can run into another one. Come on, where are you guys at? This place is for some reason like a huge maze. I don't know why, because you don't really need it. It doesn't need to be a maze when there's no way in or out of it except for that one cave entrance, I believe. Well, I think there actually might be a second entrance, but let's use Fury Cutter and show how this works. So it shouldn't do that much. There we go. Now he'll use Sketch, which in turn will mean that he learns Fury Cutter. So now Fury Cutter is a permanent, that's right, a permanent move on his moveset. So if I were to catch him, he will just have Fury Cutter. He will no longer have Sketch. So if you want a Smeargle that you can teach basically anything to, you're going to want to catch it right away, or make sure that you only use a move on it that you want it to learn. Now the downside to all of this, and this really awesome, I am gonna look around here, by the way, just to make sure that there isn't any items to grab. There might be one, but now the one downside to Smeargle is that its base stats are kind of crap. They're not really the best, so Smeargle is not really a Pokemon that you can use competitively, despite being able to pretty much give it anything you want. It's just, there's hidden items in here. Okay, well, that is good to know. I should probably actually look around for some more of those. But yeah, if you want to use one competitively, I mean, you're really not going to have the best of luck in the world, I'm afraid. So, yeah, probably don't bother in that regard. But like I said, it is a unique and interesting Pokemon. It is very different from, well, any other Pokemon. So, yeah, catch one at least for the novelty factor, if you so desire. So I guess there is going to be one of each type of medicine in here, which is obviously useful for training your Pokemon. And there is another entrance, so I guess we'll head on out that way. But I'm going to grab this item first before we head on out. So let's do that. We got a Carbos. The bag is full. What? Hold on. I have a super potion here. Actually, what am I doing? I'm going to use that on Vega since she actually has taken a little bit of damage. There we go. So we're almost done exploring the non-facility related things around this place. I'm going to be going over each and every one of the facilities over the next couple of videos. I'm going to try to take care of each of them. You know, I'm just going to be doing mostly explaining, by the way. I won't really be doing a lot of demonstrating, unfortunately, just because I don't have the time for that. Benefit to your ranking hall. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, so once you actually do things here in the ranking hall, you can check out each and every one of your records. Over this way there's a few of the facilities you can look at. So like this one, Battle Factory Single. You can see Open Level, Battle Pike. Over here is Battle Dome. And then the other three are on the right side of the hall. And then I think you've got a couple right here as well. So this one's all Battle Tower, I believe. Yeah, because the Battle Tower is the most in-depth of them because it is, well, it's the Battle Tower. Battle Tower is kind of the primary source of endgame battling for most of the game, so it was deemed very important. So this is the Battle Pyramid. I am looking for two more. Well, actually, I'm looking for like 3 more locations. Battle Tower is directly above us. This is, what is this one right here? This is the Battle Point Exchange Service. Okay, so this is one of the places I wanted to look at. And right here, we can talk to each one of these. Hello, this is the Exchange Service Corner. So you can see how much you can get for each of the battle points that you earn as you play. So getting these is very cheap, which is nice. They're only 1 battle point each. So if you want to get a bunch of those, go ahead and do that. Spend a bunch of battle points there. Exchange Service Corner. So now here we have some really important battle items, so like leftovers, which is, we do have one. A white herb, a hold item that restores any lowered stat. Quick Claw, you can get another one of those. A mental herb that snaps Pokemon out of infatuation. Bright Powder, Choice Band, King's Rock, Focus Band, and Scope Lens. These, particularly the Choice Band, the Scope Lens, and the King's, well, not the King's Rock, Bright Powder, excuse me. These are the ones that you're going to want to go after the most. Now, granted, Bright Powder has no better than the Lax Incense, but you do only get 1 Lax Incense in the entire game. Choice Band is incredibly good. Raises a move's power, but permits only that move. So this would eventually evolve into the Choice Band, Choice Scarf, Choice Lens, all of those later on. But in Generation 3, we just had the Choice Band, which this did not care about physical attack or special attack. It just was pick a move, it boosts the power, but it only allows you to use that move. And then you have the Scope Lens, which increases critical hit rate, which is always good to have in your Pokemon, especially those with high critical hit ratio affinity. So we got some more over here. And this one's mostly, I believe both of these ladies are mostly just secret base items. So you had all of the dolls there, and then from here you've got, yep, a bunch more dolls and also cushions. If you really want to go after those, I mean, be my guest. I think that is the biggest waste of battle points ever, just because they're so expensive. So I wouldn't go for that personally. There's also a set of move tutors over, I think, right in here that you can also talk to. And you've got, let's see, Pokemon is Meowth. Oh, no, this is the lady that trades you the Meowth. That's right. Okay, so my Pokemon is Meowth. Do you know it? It's quite cute and rather nice. This little one I could trade with pride. Would you like to trade me a Skitty from a Meowth? So if you have a Skitty, come here to get your only Meowth that you can possibly get in Emerald. Now, the other unique thing about this Meowth is that it will be holding a retro mail, which cannot be gotten any other way. It is the only way you can get that particular type of mail. So if you really, really want that mail and you don't want to bother trading a Meowth over from Fire Red Leaf Green, that's how you get it. Now, this right here... Oh, no, this is Scott's house. Well, hello and welcome. Sorry about the cramped space. Anyway, Levi, let me formally welcome you to the Battle Frontier. This is my dream come true. It took me years, but I've finally given shape to my dream. On reflection, it was a terribly long journey. I left home alone on a quest to find strong trainers. No one can imagine how much effort or time it took to make this real. That's all in the past. No point in dwelling on that. All I want for you to enjoy the battling. All I want is for you to enjoy battling to your heart's content here. Levi, I want you to have this memento for all the time our path crossed on our journeys. Wow, if only I could read today, that would be amazing. And you get 3 free battle points, which you can't really use for much, but it's a start. Now, you get battle points pretty easily as long as you really do dig yourself into the facilities. Now, okay, I know that there's a set of move tutors around here somewhere. This is the Battle Dome. Maybe it's this house right here. I just knew that they were on the far left side of the island at some point, but it might be this house. Let's see. As long as there's 2 people in here. Yep, 2 old people. Wow, you couldn't tell it from looking now, but I used to be one tough trainer. I had a reputation as the toughest beauty around, and I'll tell you. What is it now? You don't believe me? I'm not like that blowhard woman over there. I'm actually talented. Let me prove it to you. I can teach your Pokemon special and yet cute moves, but my lessons don't come from me. How about paying for the moves I teach with a wee bit of battle points? Look here. No, I didn't mean to actually do that. I wanted to look at... I want to see the move. Yes. Okay, show me your moves. Okay, so we got Soft Boil, Seismic Toss, Dream Eater, Mega Punch, Mega Kick, Body Slam, Rock Slide, Counter, Thunder Wave, Swords Dance. Swords Dance, very good move. Rock Slide, very good move. Body Slam, very good move. The rest of these, I mean, Thunder Wave has places on teams. That's probably about it, actually. They're not really all that good. I mean, you can use Seismic Toss very effectively in one particular facility, and we'll get into that later. You'll understand why when I talk about it, but I wouldn't really recommend it even then. There are other moves that I think work better. So this lady was a swimmer, and this lady has a lot more interesting moves in my opinion. So show me what you got. Defense Curl, Snore, Mud Slap, Swift, Icy Wind, very useful one. Endure, very useful as well. Psych Up, not so much. Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, and Fire Punch, all very useful moves on certain Pokemon. But also, again, very certain Pokemon because these are all treated as special moves in this generation, not physical moves. So don't be going and teaching them to your Hitmonchan. It's just not going to be all that good. So these 2 ladies, keep them in mind for building your teams. They're also very, very important. Now, if we head on... Actually, I think that's actually everything that I wanted to go over here in the Battle Frontier, isn't it? Was that all the houses? The move tutor, the trade... Scott. Yeah, that was everything. Wow. Okay, so we're back here at the Battle Frontier Gate, and in the next episode, I'm going to start going over each and every one of the facilities. Now, my Pokemon are not going to work very well in any of these facilities at all. So I'm not going to really jump on into and just show you guys how they work, you know, firsthand and waste my time doing that because it's not going to be the easiest thing to do. Because I won't succeed. My team is just not good enough for it. I'll explain more later as we get into it and why it doesn't work very well, but and how the difficulty scales throughout the frontier. But essentially, I could maybe get through like the first challenge with my team on every one of these battle facilities, maybe, but I don't even want to chance it because I would rather explain each and every one of these over the course of 2 episodes than show each and every one of these over the course of 7, if that makes sense. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so very much for watching this episode of Let's Play Pokemon Emerald. I hope you all enjoyed it very much, and I will see you all in the next one.